weapons since then.
Alright, here we go. Bye, Uncle. Kinda
Bye,
heavy.
Uncle. Well, that's a pretty interesting first item.
Alright, Moon Pearl. Well, we'll have to be looking for that.
Indeed. Well, it's just still gonna be a question of how they will access the Dark World.
Quite a number of ways we can do that. This tile spray just kills me.
We'll have to wait and see about potential Aga 1 later on, but first our weapon for today will be the Fire Rod from Uncle.
Was that from Uncle or was that from the purple chest? I'm not sure.
Maybe Uncle is actually the purple chest?
Wow, I've never really thought about that. But as far as the Fire Rod goes, pretty good weapon. It does sort of limit your farming, but there's very little execution-wise for escape with the Fire Rod, so that's a plus.
With every single enemy dying in one shot, it is quite straightforward. We'll be interested to see how much time they will spend either using magic or using pots to kill guards.
Yeah, I know a lot of runners will just wait until after Zelda Cell to see if they get bombs in a chest. And there's also a lot of enemies that like to group up in the back half of the escape. So we'll see what they opt to do.
Indeed, they will still need to do some farming to try and find some bombs. Thus far, no bombs in sight.
No, just an arrow capacity upgrade, which is not very useful when we don't have a bow.
Even when you do have a bow, if you do have max arrows at 30, don't really tend to need more than that.
Not usually.
Escape is pretty straightforward with the Fire Runner. It's a nice full magic drop, but they've been quite conservative with the magic, so not really that big of a deal.
Might opt to get that on the way out. I wouldn't be surprised. Heck yeah.
You gotta collect the green goo.
Oh my gosh, purple chest sprite.
I mean, since apparently it's a fun match and the 4 bombs is pretty fun.
Alright, well that's really good. That's pretty much all we need. For the foreseeable future anyway.
Indeed, since you can easily get 50 rupees from Blind's Basement and the Well in Kakariko, SageLord is the only one who needs a little bit more rupees to be able to check the merchant. It's of course assuming they will go Kakariko first, but it's extremely unlikely they won't be doing that.
Yeah, you rarely do not see that. Even if you're doing Houlihan, which is also very rare in this mode, you'll start at Link's House, and typically you'll just go from there the south route to Kakariko anyway. But
Indeed.
this is a 5-1 race, so that might mean we might see some things that you're not used to seeing.
And this is a little bit more of a practice race, as to speak, since they are both qualified for the next round.
Yeah, in that sense, the pressure's not really on, and yeah, so anything can happen.
It would be quite interesting to see some exciting gambles, like someone getting all the requirements for Aga 1 and decides to do it very early instead of going somewhere else.
Yeah, we did see SageLord, file names, Sage Gamble, so it's definitely on their minds.
Well, it's more than just winning sometimes, it's for the sake of entertainment. And gambles do bring excitement if it does turn out to be a valuable one. Otherwise it's just sad.
Well, there's another air upgrade. That's not quite as exciting.
It's definitely one of the least exciting items in the game.
Now you can hold more stuff.
Yeah, not. It can be exciting if every single enemy drops 8 bombs and you just find a bunch of bomb capacity upgrades.
That's just very convenient, yes. Not having any trouble finding this key rat. Still have plenty of magic, so we haven't had to kill any extra enemies along the way.
Yep, and it does have the bomb necessary for the 3 chests back here. Ooh, yeah, finding a bottle before Kakariko is always nice. You don't have to backtrack to sick it.
It does have a fairy in it that's sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Yeah, if you remember to let it go or not, if you're trying to do a death warp.
It can save you as much time as it costs you. Well, I mean, maybe it's not that drastic when you death warp, but I don't think we saw the map, so yep. Mentosman just gonna skip that. SageLord opening it just for the peace of mind. I approve.
There was a rather well-known seed from last spring tournament where there was something of value in that chest, and one player miscounted items and ended up losing because of that. Also, we did see 2 pendants in the light world.
Alright, well. This would be Eastern Palace and Desert Palace, I believe, and those were both red and blue, so the unexciting pendants. And Tower Para was a normal crystal.
I quite like having a normal pendant over in Eastern. I also like flippers.
Well, that would be useful if the tile had any legs or feet.
Maybe the tile can fit inside of the flippers.
Perhaps.
Just float across.
Now the purple chest, on the other hand, the purple chest can in fact spin.
I guess it's a mimic.
It's something. Maybe it's just full of air. I don't know, but it does swim, and now it can swim for realsies.
I mean, the chest does open itself quite a lot, so it should be a lot of air contained inside of it. Just letting go of the old air and in with the new.
Yeah, well, with how many times I turned that chest and it's had nothing in it, you would certainly think that. Coming down here to blinds it now. Got 5 items down here. What are we gonna get?
Some rupees, some pieces of hearts. And some gloves, but otherwise I was right on the money.
You were right on the money and on the heart. Alright, well, gloves. Just 1 item away from our Dark World access now. Need a hammer or another pair of gloves.
Gloves and flippers early, both of those are items that unlock Zoro.
Yeah, we do have to be conscious of that. Alright, the well. Another 5 chests.
More love. Yeah, more love.
Love and money.
This is kind of like a middle in the road Kakariko. Sometimes you get absolutely nothing, and sometimes you get everything. This time they've gotten some useful things.
Yeah, we got gloves. It's not going to be a total bust, but not the most exciting Kakariko I've seen either. But that's just fine.
I did enjoy that one seed where they had butter after Kakariko.
Oh boy. More love. This is a very lovely town we got here. Be a shame something happened to it.
But it's just pieces of heart. It's not even full heart containers they are finding here.
You gotta take what you can get, man.
But it's not like Kakariko are not... The population here is not showing their full support. They're a bit skeptical of this walking, floating tile and chest moving around here, and I can't blame them for that.
Well, the rando community also has very little love for tile rooms, so it's just appropriate. I'm surprised they opted to buy bombs for checking these two locations, just in case there were bombs. I guess it's not really that big a deal, but...
I think they found 8 pieces of heart.
that would add up.
That's pretty insane for this early on in the seed, and there's a lot of heart containers left, so this could be a 15+ heart seed very easily.
Could be very, very healthy if it continues along this path. Let's see what we got in the library. $300.
Yes, Sora money on the library, but we won't really be coming back for that unless they will need that later for a digging game or something like that.
And the good old tin bomb in the racing game. So Kakariko was pretty much just gloves the town.
Gloves and shards of hearts.
Well, typically when you find almost nothing early, you get a little bit worried that you're going to be finding like a lamp and maybe 2 swords soon.
Well, till that time comes, it's the basic route. You go to the dam, you go to Mini Moldrum, you go to Ice Rod Cave, and then you don't fake flipper, you use your normal flippers and find more pieces of hearts.
And no need for the fake flipper today.
You can still fake flipper, you know?
You can, that's true. Would be nice if we had boots. Then I would definitely do it, but...
I'm getting some walk on water action.
Just a palm upgrade, where are the items? I was told there would be items. Instead, I'm just given things that promise that I can hold more items.
Or just somewhat makes you more healthy sometimes.
Alright, well, Mini Moldrum Cave has a reputation sometimes of being the Light World hype cave. See if that holds today.
I do remember was the time it was called the Hyplia Cave. The Moldrums are not being nice, and well, there's just more rupees. More love. A fetch quest item that they can't even deliver yet.
Yeah, I mean the powder's nice. Like that's a good item to find, but that is not progression.
I mean, they have a lot of safety here with 5 hearts, a fairy, and powder, but it's like there is no challenge yet because they haven't moved far enough. Is that the swimming animation for the what?
I guess so. It just spins slightly slower, which I guess makes sense.
I'm so confused right now.
Oh boy. Okay. The crabs look like they wanted to play for a bit, but thankfully they left because we are quite defenseless right now.
Oh dear. Oh, there's some bombs in Ice Rod Cave.
Oh boy.
Well, from things, looks like Sora or Sassola Eastern, or you want to make the gamble to Agena this early?
And normally that's not great, but I think with how little we found, Agena is actually not the worst thing in the world to check. We do have quite a few flipper locations though, so...
Mento's just going straight here for the waterfall, skipping out on Hobo and checking the island. I can't blame him, this means that he'll be spending less time swimming and that's less time looking at the swimming tile.
Ooh. Well, there's our Dark World access.
Yeah, that hammer changes a lot.
That opens up quite a lot of locations now.
And not only is that Dark World access, but also puts the powder fetch into logic as well.
That it does. Would not be surprised to see Mentosman8 head that way, turn that in, maybe head into Dark World. They need a little bit of magic before they can do that, though.
Just a little bit of magic. SageLord does have that magic, but Mentos, he's gonna do Hype Cave first.
Might as well. I mean, there's no rush going to Thieves Town, and maybe you get a sword, some safety, before you have to dive into the Dark World Dungeon, because they do a lot of damage. And for as many pieces apart as we found... Ooh, okay.
Green pod. And was that Ice and Thieves for 5-6?
I believe so.
Well, that's a good location for one of the 5-6, and with that one, I mean Thieves Town.
Well, I'm pretty sure I saw Ice Palace be the other one. Ooh, was it Mizzy Meyer? I'm not sure. I'll trust our tracker.
I'll trust the tracker. I also trust Flute and Ice Rod in Hype Cave. What's going on? And another cane!
Sufficiently hype, I would say.
Yeah, I'd call that pretty hype.
Definitely the most packed item spot we've seen this entire seed, so yeah. If anything's a hype cave, that would be it.
The disappointing Kakariko and the Hype Cave decides to deliver instead. SageLord's gonna save and quit here while Mentos is gonna go for... I like to call this the reverse tour, because otherwise it's the frog tour, the chest tour, down and deliver that. Let's also let SageLord activate the flute earlier.
Yeah, it's not super important to get that activated right away, but it's, you know, the sooner you get it, the better, I guess. It does give access to a few locations on Dark Death Mountain, including Spike Cave, which would be interesting to see check this early, but I don't imagine that will be the first thing you do.
It's just going up there to check that, and Spectacle Rock and Sequence Break the old man at this point.
I see this this shovel is also just a tile.
I mean, this still looks like a Dark World sprite, you know.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's really good.
That's exactly what you want to find.
Yeah, picking up our first sword here.
Just having something to poke enemies with makes a big difference in Dark World.
And with that sword, and because they have the fire rod, they can get to Skull Woods.
Oh boy.
We want to do fighter sword, Skull Woods, 7 hearts. You do have a fairy.
We do. Ooh, green goo from Bat. That's at least somewhat related to the vanilla item.
And somewhat relevant for Mothula as well.
Yeah, that's true. I still think I would put off Mothula for a little while. I mean, there's no pressing need to do Mothula, and that fight gets significantly easier with just a few more items.
You still have Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town that you can full clear.
Who knows, maybe find Mirror and book along the way. We can check Pedestal at the same time.
We'll check the pedestal if the book was available. But maybe the chest knows something that we don't.
It's possible.
I mean, who knows what ancient information is kept within that chest?
Well, we won't find out for quite some time, I think.
I'm not sure I want to know. And yeah, SageLord, it does seem like Village of Outcast, Thieves Town, and then after that moving into Skull Woods, because otherwise you just tend to go up and check the first few chests. Yeah, we did get to see vanilla Pyramid Fairy crystals here with Ice and Mire.
Ice is one of those weird ones where you would prefer to go moded, but Pyramid Fairy might push you to doing it sooner.
Indeed, and Mire is one of those where it's difficult to know if it's better or not to go mode it, because it depends entirely on where the big key is.
Yeah, that one's a little hard to predict, just because if the big key's no... Ooh.
Okay, well, there's the book that was mentioned.
That's half of the equation. Now we just
now
need to
you...
find mirror.
Indeed, mirror in Thieves Town. Mentosman is gonna do Skullwoods first. Wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna go straight into the back and finish off Mothula first, and then round back together. Okay, he's not gonna do that.
I think if you have absolute confidence that you can beat Mothula with your equipment, you definitely do that, just because it can potentially save you time. If you're still like lacking items, I think checking the front half is fine. Maybe you find the sword upgrade here. Maybe you find half magic or something.
Yeah, but so far nothing.
Alright, the first chest in Thieves Town was just the map, so not a lot of action there quite yet. There's the big key.
There's another bottle and another one with a fairy inside of it in Skullwoods.
Alright, well, 2 fairies and a green potion might make Mothula reasonable.
There's 14 additional hearts and effectively half magic if you have full magic.
And we can get a full magic in this room above. Now this room is kind of annoying.
And no boomerang to stun them, and is that enough magic to kill both of them? Oh, a sword in Thieves Town.
Ooh. Well, that is a welcome sight, I'm sure.
Indeed, that is also SageLord's first sword, so it's gonna be interesting to see if he's gonna go into Skullwoods after this, or go down and do the digging game.
Might have to do Skullwoods. I imagine that was probably the reason why they didn't do that. I mean, I guess not having the equipment is also a valid reason, but not having a sword is also a more firm reason why you can't complete that dungeon.
Yeah, you will need a sword in order to get to Mothula.
Yeah, the only way you can remove vines, as we all know, is with the sword. Can't use your hands. Can't use a fire rod. Even though that like melts like this weird insect-like tail.
Yeah, Mentos taking one of his 2 fairies here.
I think that was probably meant to refill his health. Maybe that was just an accident as he's walking through. It's hard to say.
He did take a hit when he exited the former entrance of Skullwoods and went out from 3 to 1 heart.
Very liberal use of this fire rod here.
Yeah, he's not preserving the magic at all. We'll need to kill the Gibdo here for the small key.
Alright, that uses up the rest of the magic. There is a small pot here, but that is not a lot.
It's opting for hammer strats. It's have short range.
If you can get Mothula below you, it's really, really nice to have the hammer here. And hammer makes it a lot shorter of a fight than just using the fire sword would be, of course. It does tempered sword damage. Being very patient.
Indeed. The fighter sword has quite pathetic damage and also range in comparison to the other swords.
Ooh, has to be very careful. One more hit from Mothula will take him out, but he does have another fairy, so...
Yeah, and SageLord picked up a piece of heart. We do know that the small key is locked inside of the big chest in Thieves Town.
Won't have to bother going there. It feels nice. There we go.
And Mothula was quite nice in the early game with how the tiles were moving, but then everything just kind of went south. But takes the kill, gets the first crystal.
"24 minutes, Skullwoods, your first crystal." That's not bad.
Indeed, and I imagine SageLord will have his in about some seconds or so.
Yeah, swords really make this fight manageable. We do have the Cane of Brian as well. If we wanted to pop our magic pot and use that, that would also be a very easy way to kill blind. Does get the nice script. Ooh, vanilla-ish.
vanilla-ish. This is actually really good because this would incentivize him more to go down and do the digging game and all that kind of stuff because he knows he can always go back up.
That is very true. That would give him a nice Master Sword to play with.
Also, really good Mentos. Using both his fairy, knows he can Death Warp back to the entrance. SageLord, he's opting for Skull Woods.
Yeah, just going right to it. I mean, it's required. If you got the courage. Not a bad idea. Does sort of put him a bit away from the myths locked locations that he just got, like the blacksmith and his brother, who spawns after you return the blacksmith. But we don't have the mirror, so that's not especially convenient to do right now anyway.
It could be that he is going in here and hoping to find the mirror before going for that.
Ooh. Well, he won't find the mirror, but he did find, or he will find, some silver arrows in that big chest.
And that big key was from Mothula, so Mothula was blocking the silver arrows.
Well, that's not a bad prize at all. Even though we might not actually need Bow until GTA. Which is interesting. That's actually really interesting. Because it's going to mean that Bow can be in a lot of places. Depending.
Yeah, I do remember seeing one this tournament where the bow was actually in the Ganon's Tower tile room.
Yeah, it can definitely be there with this particular pendant layout. And let me tell you, that's never fun.
Yeah, if the bow is the go mode item, it's going to be very interesting to see how the players will decide to route. SageLord here is not so half hard, has to be careful, he wants to save these fairies.
Nope.
Well, that's a fairy.
One, good to give him a big old hug.
And not the nicest hug in the world. I imagine Mentos is gonna make the trip into Thieves Town now.
Just sort of covering the ground that the other has already done so far.
And with this, Mentos will find a sword upgrade and his glove upgrade.
Yes, indeed, and Titansmiths is one of the items that unlocks a lot of locations, like one of the most, so we could see some very interesting route divergence right after both of these guys finish up these two dungeons here.
Yeah, for better or worse, the Ice Palace is open. You can go to Mire's Shed, but you can't enter Mire. I'm still missing either a hookshot or a mirror to progress up on Death Mountain.
There we are. I mean, we can get three items up there. I mean, one of them is going to be a secret spike from the old man, but we can get that. And since we have the Cane of Burn, a Spike Cave is in logic, which is good to keep in mind. Mentosman picking up the Master Sword.
The shinier blue sword.
Yes, indeed. The bunny sprite for the tile apparently is just a small key, which makes sense.
I actually would have preferred if it was a big key.
Big key. Well, you have to think in Tower of Hera, the small key leads to the tavern. Therefore,
yeah, I understood it was Tower of Hera, but I was thinking everyone's favorite location for the big key in Ganon's Tower.
I see.
So SageLord taking down Mothula.
Alright, so SageLord has a little bit of a time advantage, sort of, since they did not clear all of the South Dark World, so we'll be checking this chest here Gonna be also getting the silver arrows, and then what will they do? Is the question on everybody's mind right now.
I imagine it's gonna be a frog into chest tour.
Yeah, we do have to walk back down there, which is kind of a bummer. But I guess we're heading out anyway to check the big chest, so it's not as bad.
Yeah, and these item locations are still nearby. They don't have the mirror, so they can't quickly go back to the light world and use the flute. So many item locations is that it's K45 is not in logic, so it's Peg Cave and just the smith and the chest.
Yeah, I think there's 4 that he can access, and then if he goes back for the purple chest, that will be 5. Something else that is in logic now is going to be that ice palace. So maybe they go there. Well, it's not going to be my personal choice, but I mean it's possible.
It is possible. I imagine they're gonna visit some other locations before they make that play.
One odd thing about these kind of jokey sprites is it does make lining up your bomb jumps a little trickier if you use the sprite for your the positioning. It's like SageLord dropped in the pit there a few times, probably because I'm assuming it didn't look like he was just going to fall, but then he did.
And SageLord is gonna save and quit here. Ooh, well, we're gonna see what Sahasrara has.
He might even get that Eastern dip.
We do still have Swara in logic, but the rupees are far away from that. And Mentos is continuing the streak of great boss fights.
It's neat, very well done. It's also their second crystal. 2 in around 30 minutes is really, really nice.
Yeah, and it's a nice little mail upgrade. Makes the chest weirdly colored.
I think it has an allergy to the material.
I kind of think it merged with the Book of Medora.
No, it's the chest of Medora.
The chest of Medora contains all the ancient treasures and an error capacity upgrade.
Alright, I guess desert's open too.
This could be boots locked, and well, it is a pendant, so I guess it's kind of nice to get it out of the way in that sense. And Peg K was just 10 arrows. And we'll do a little frog delivery here, just to save and quit. And the moment of truth. That's a big key.
Alright, so as far as completing the dungeon, that's not going to be boots locked, but ooh.
2 items over on east side are locked. So what's in the big chest? This could still be an item.
Yep, that could just be the map and the compass over there, but it is not both the map and the compass, unfortunately.
There's at least 1 item over on the east side, locked by boots. And the smith today are crafting a medallion.
Hey, that's interesting.
Is that the one for Quake? Or for Meyer, I mean? It doesn't really matter, they don't have hookshot or boots in the first place.
Yeah, we can't actually get into Meyer. Well, we can open it up if it's Quake, but we can't actually get in. We can make sure it's still there, I guess.
The easily forgotten thing that you do need to actually get past that pit.
Alright, looks like SageLord's also interested in rescuing the blacksmith.
It just seems like optimizing all the item locations just to prevent themselves from being forced to go into ice.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, of all of the Midslock locations, you want to check Ice Palace is probably the last one. Gonna come get their Master Sword the dig game.
Yep. Fermentos here, this is actually... Yeah, where is he gonna go after this? Do you want to check pod and see if it's bow locked or not?
Yeah, I'm not really, you know. So there's some bombs in the purple chest on Mentosman's side. Let's see. Going over the mirror. Okay, this makes sense. Checking the shed is pretty quick, and you get information in the medallion.
It's definitely an interesting seed right now, since they're missing a lot of valuable items like mirror and the hookshot, really preventing them from doing things in dungeons.
Oh man, I couldn't see the medallion.
Yeah, I couldn't see that either.
Alright, so nothing really in the mire shed, but that was a very non-committal play. It doesn't really hurt that there's nothing there, since we would check that anyway. It's very easy to get back to as well.
Mentos is heading over to Sahasral now. Or...
I don't think they checked Hobo. Did they?
No, they didn't check Hobo, and they didn't see those 50 rupees on the island either. They just went straight for the waterfall when they flippered. I do have Eastern to check, Palace of Darkness, do have Spy Cave and Inside of Spectral Rock up on Death Mountain.
Also got that Ice Palace we don't want to check, but could.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention it.
Next, big 20 from Mr. Hobo.
That was bringing out the flute. SageLord back into the Dark World.
Well, SageLord cannot leave his brother behind.
They cannot. Has Agena been checked?
No. Actually hasn't.
Huh. Okay, well, Agena could have something. Meneer's running and flying all over the world right now. He's looking for an item to allow them to do something. Because they don't want to enter Ice or one of the Pendant Dungeons, except for Desert for some reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Desert, you know. I guess we got the book, and it's not really required, and I guess you get information if it's boots locked or not. But yeah, it's hard because in these scenarios where you get the mitts kind of early, with like not a lot of great options, it can be hard to really plan out what you want to do in an optimal way.
Yeah, and SageLord has the other chest.
Alright, got a tag team over here.
I do have to remind everyone that only one of the two chests are in fact sentient.
Well, as far as we know. I mean, this purple one could just be easily influenced.
Maybe the purple one is actually the one in control.
Perhaps. Well, it's gone now. We harvested the bombs from its body. The delicious bombs.
Rest in peace. I'm gonna get our Agena's cave check here by Mentos. Even then, which item do you want to see? I mean, hookshot or mirror, was that either?
That was Bombos.
Oh, it was Bombos, okay. Well, I'm blind.
Blind, huh? Well, I guess you already had your time to sign and seed. They both beat you. Just a single rupee in the old man chest. I I think at this point I would just head up, me personally, would head up to Death Mountain, get that nice save and quit spot, see what's in Spectacle Rock, and check that Spike Cave. But Mentosman...
he's gonna go into ice here.
Certainly is.
And depending on the layout here, the logic may or may not require you to have the hook shot.
Yep, and that can be good information, especially if we also find a small key on Cold Stare, because that will mean the Cane of Samaria was somewhere before this. So it can be hard to figure out exactly where that lies in the logic. But this is required. There's 3 items here. Even if we need the hookshot by logic, there's a bomb jump. It's a pretty easy way to do that. We can just make sure our routing's still nice and fine. Get everything in here. Not too much trouble.
Yeah, and old man today only with 5 rupees and Mentos opting for quaking down the pen gate. What?
Well, you know that ground moves don't work on things in the air. So if the penguins are jumping, quake does not work. That's just Pokemon rules.
So, wait, are they mono flying?
I don't know, but apparently they can learn fly, for whatever that's worth.
Or maybe they just have levitate, sometimes. I guess well, this game has physics.
Ooh, well, speaking of Bombos.
Yeah, well, that unlocks no item locations.
Unlocks no item locations. It does unlock the front mat to Mystery Mire, but that is of course required, so we're gonna get that.
Yeah, we'll need that hookshot or boots.
Alright, SageLord. Gonna be heading back up here to check the Spike Cave.
Mentos gets the bomb jump on the second try. I mean first try.
First try every time. But yeah, it's a little hard to set these up with these funny sprites.
I don't know which sprites they use as default, but it's certainly not these sprites, right?
I assume not.
And I have commentated both these players this tournament, and I don't remember the tile sprite. I've never seen that before.
You definitely don't want your sprite holding you back in some more serious tournament situations. I will say that. That's why I can't use Vitreous, because it blocks the shadow.
Spike it with a boom fast upgrade, and yeah, I agree. I'm also not very updated on the current sprite meta.
The current sprite meta. I'm not sure what the win rates are.
Maybe someone needs to look that up. I'm not gonna do it. Mental's realizing he doesn't have a hook shot and has to fall down and get the compass like that. Well, we're still looking for an item.
We certainly are. I do approve of SageLord's choice to get Spike Cave, though. When you find the Cane of Burna that early, and we have all the means to get to Spike Cave, you gotta be thinking about that a little bit.
It's been a lot of seeds decided by some players checking Spike Cave and some players don't. This time it was nothing.
I find it funny that they both skipped Hobo.
Yeah, they did do that. It was really interesting. Considering they both had flippers, it wasn't even a, like, can I fake flipper back out or not? And is that piece of art the second or third item?
I want to say it was the first, but I'm not super confident about that.
The first chest had 20 rupees.
Okay, so that would be the second one.
Where's SageLord going? Pyramid? We haven't seen Pyramid into Catfish.
Looks like that's what they're interested in doing. Maybe going to Pod after Pyramid too, so it's hard to say. Mentosman getting that nice bomb jump. That one's actually a lot easier than it seems.
It is, but it's not often done. It's quite rare that you're in this situation where you don't have hookshot in ice.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes you just find small key in the verse just anyway, you don't have to bother with it.
This lucrative side of Ice Palace with 3 item locations.
This is where all the fun stuff is usually.
Like small keys.
Small keys, oh, so fun.
And bombs on Pyramid.
Alright, we'll see where SageLord opts to go from here.
That's the 3rd item in ice.
That's another big 20.
So it's not ice, so it's Eastern, Pod, or Catfish. I think that's it.
Yes, I believe you're correct. Could be Zora, I guess.
Oh yeah, Sora.
That guy.
Yeah, maybe it's not a scam today. I mean, they haven't had rupees at all for this seed.
They really haven't.
I was gonna say they get boots and they pick up the 300 in the library, but if they get boots, they just head into Mire. And that's Pyramid Fairy access.
Alright, Catfish, what you got today? Pick 20.
Not even picking it up. Oh, yeah, it's a small key.
And Mentosman does not have Bombo, so they will have to use all of their magic to break the cold stair shell.
He does have a green potion still.
And we didn't use that?
I don't think he has used that. Also, SageLord is going into Eastern. And this is gonna be a rough cold stair.
Yeah, Master Sword's not too bad. If it were Fighter Sword, okay, we do have a green potion. Fantastic.
Gonna just mash the fire roll here.
Getting really nice double hits. Wow.
Wow, indeed. 3rd crystal at 47 minutes, but no progression. Which means that if Pyramid Fairy doesn't have anything, ice can be go-moded.
You're quite right. I do appreciate that Mentosman just came here and bit the bullet, because this is probably the last thing you want to do, if you can help it. But just assuming the seed is going to be as mean as possible. Could not see through the double read where the seed knows you're coming here and just puts nothing there anyway. But hey, that was required and didn't take too long.
It's still a crystal. There's a big heart in Eastern. Mentos time up Death Mountain.
I'm gonna get their bomb bust very soon as well.
No, I think the mirror would be worse than the hook shot, because if they get the mirror, they can go into swamp.
Yeah, mirror is just one of those items where you don't want to find that until you absolutely need it, just because it unlocks so many locations. Oops. Hello, hello.
Oh, SageLord is not interested in finding the 3rd item in Eastern. He is gambling.
That is bold. That is
he does not.
Bold.
He hasn't found the big key, so he has to go all the way around for the vanilla big key.
Oh boy. Oh,
it also means 50% chance the 3rd item is on Armos as well.
Yes, indeed. So boots give us access to the Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb, gives us access to Misery Mire. It also gives us access to all the items in Desert Palace.
Yeah, it does. Now, certain our players are proficient in dark rooms, but if Mire is something they should clear, the logic will intend them to have the lamp.
Yeah, we do need the Cane of Samaria as well to actually complete that dungeon, but hey, it could be in Mire. Ain't that a blast?
Indeed, and that boomerang does indicate that it could have belonged to a Link of the past.
The old king.
The old king of Hyrule.
He did like his boomerangs, that king. So Mentosman's trying to set up this bomb jump here. If you get this with the sprite, wow, what a god. That's a really hard bomb jump to get.
Yeah, and it's also one of those that's not the most common one. SageLord picked up 20 rupees. Oh, he's gonna check Lumberjack. We haven't seen this.
No, we haven't. We do still need to find the lamp somewhere for Aga to be in Logic, but I mean, I guess this could be a thing that we have to consider now.
Yeah, just finding out that it's a vanilla. So Meyer it is.
Yeah.
Or Desert, if you want to do that first. And apparently SageLord wants to do Desert first.
Well, that's fair. It's just gonna be nice to get that out of the way. We can just leave the dungeon and flute back down here. If we went to Meyer and there's something in there, we have to save and quit and then flute back down here, I guess.
Well, no items were found in Desert, and there's at least one item on the east side.
Yes, indeed.
Mentos now making the trip to South, so I will see if he's gonna go into Eastern after this.
I expect he will. I don't think there's much else he can do aside from Zora, and we don't have the money for that.
I mean, they can still go into Palace of Darkness.
Oh, gosh.
It's just for it to be bow-locked.
I mean, I'd take a bow-locked pod. I'm happy to take a bow-locked pod. That's just telling you. Ooh.
First item, Bugnet. Map and compass have been found, so Lanmolas has an item in Desert.
Single arrow, thank you, game. I appreciate that.
SageLord is extremely happy to find that.
Yeah, exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. You can hear my excitement in my voice, like, wow.
So the blue mail made Mentosman8 slightly darker tile. I believe this is like optic camo in this dungeon. The enemies won't be able to see him.
So it's metal tile?
Yes. Yes, indeed. If only SageLord was there, we could use him as some camouflage as well.
But does the tile fit in the chest?
I would think so.
I don't know how the proportions work, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, because you'd think the tile is floating, it's closer to the camera. It's probably bigger than it actually is. That's my headcanon anyway.
Yeah, okay, I'll accept that.
It's gonna be really awkward if SageLord doesn't find anything in the desert.
Yeah, it is a pendant. I mean, both Hookshot and Mirror and Kane can be on the pedestal. And Ether, if it is needed for Turtle Rock.
You are absolutely right, that could definitely be there.
And we haven't checked Bumper Cave yet to see if the cape is needed.
We have not. I guess that's another one of those locations that a lot of runners don't like to check until they get the cape.
Oh, Mento's gonna keep going here for the additional item location. Oh, did he find the big key? No, he didn't. I thought so.
Yeah, gotta make a small detour for that.
Yeah, for the 50% chance of getting the third item, SageLord is gonna get his first pendant and be rewarded with 20 rupees.
Fantastic. So, to recap, Desert Palace, it was a single arrow, as in one arrow, and 20 rupees.
And the pendant. Pendant is very important if it is required.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Well, the fluid is out. Do you go into Mire now? Or do you go into Ice?
Looking like Mire to me.
Looking like that to me too. A moment of truth here in Eastern. Did SageLord miss something here when he bailed? Nope. So Lamp is in Mire then, right?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a Beam Pod.
I have seen Lamp in Mire before.
I've seen Lamp in Mire, I've seen Game Samaria in Mire, I've seen a lot of good items in Mire.
Hookshot. I've seen Bow on Vitreous.
Oh man, that's the worst one.
Yeah. There's 2 items, but maybe he just finds one here because the other one is on Vitreous.
Yeah, running out of really good options. We did see SageLord practicing the bomb jump for the hookshot skip in Ice Palace, so I mean I could have seen the Ice Palace being a much safer play for them, but they came to Mire. There's the hookshot.
Okay, well, that is your East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain access.
And that can get us all the way into Hera.
And potentially into Turtle Rock.
Well, we do need the King of Samaria to get very far into Rock, but if we find that on East Death Mountain, yep.
So this also means boots are required because Hookshot was in Mire.
Yep, that's very true. So that Eastern dip was definitely 100% required.
SageLord is still gonna go through here and look for the second item and the big key. And if this second item is the cane, obviously you can finish this dungeon off.
Yeah, I mean you're here, you might as well just check everything you can. That way, when you come back, you'll have that big key. Ooh.
There are a lot of items that can be here.
Yes, indeedy.
If you do see that this is required, that will ease your routing. And this time, yeah. So Desert was a bust.
Yeah, unfortunately for SageLord, Mentosman8 did not quite commit to that, but we're not going back in either. At least yet.
That's the big key.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
That's awkward.
So there's I know there's a full magic in the tree just north of the teleporter to Village of Outcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Where else can you find the full magic pickups here?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming Mentosman8 has a plan, though.
It does look like he does. Has he gone Pyramid Catfish?
I don't think he has.
He's gonna buy bombs?
I mean, I guess we need them. We were at 2. Well, you got 18 of them.
That's a pretty good price, and thank you to Daichilu Azur for your subscription. Thank you very much.
SageLord finally found some rupees, so we're past 500 now.
And Sora can therefore be checked, but it's a long way to go for just one item.
Oh no, this tile's going crazy.
It's spinning so fast.
Ooh.
Well, about that Turtle Rock.
Wow, that's a Mystery Mile double dip required by someone.
Unless the mirror is in pod.
Yeah, unless the mirror isn't on. That's actually very true, yes.
But most likely double dipping into Mire.
Most likely. So, if we can get into the rock, we might just complete that right away. Right after hair, anyway.
And no mirror, so Mimic Cave?
Ooh, that's an awkward one. I think that's what we call a do it and hope that there's nothing there. Play.
And we had a Seedis tournament where it was a triple dip into Turtle Rock or something required.
I did not see that one. Thankfully, it was not one I played either, so...
I've just heard the rumors.
Just heard the rumors.
I have commentated a mandatory triple dip into pod.
Well, that's not much better. A little bit better, not much better.
Don't you just love finding the mushroom in the big chest and it gives you the hammer?
No.
Me neither. It's awful. It is a SageLord here in Tower of Hera, and Mentos actually gonna make the trip into pod.
Okay, well. We've not seen this quite yet. Could be a very short trip.
It could definitely be. I have not counted the items in Tower of Hera.
We found one, I want to say. Have we found one, or have we found none? I don't know. We'll figure that out. It's unfortunate because Mentosman had the right idea going to Meyer, but just that the magic did not line up.
We do see a tracker pointing out that no items have been found.
Okay.
So Basement has had one. SageLord is fighting against the PhD in philosophy, Moldorm.
What doth life? Well, not Moldorm.
What is a Moldorm? This time Moldorm is dead.
Well, he blew up into bombs, so...
It's completely logical.
Absolutely.
There is an item in the basement.
And pod is not bow-locked, so...
Is this another bust, or is there something in here?
Ooh,
It's a really early big key.
that's a cute one. I like that.
Hover time and ether tablet.
The ether shield, my favorite item.
And the chest is now protected. And is he gonna go back in? Oh, he's skipping the basement. Red boomerang. Well, that... Yeah, he doesn't have a bottle or a potion, right?
It's not, and that's as far as we can get into pod, as far as logic is concerned. If only we found that one more key, everything would have looked up.
Oh, is he gonna buy a potion and go back to pod?
Maybe.
Or just play the magic and head to Meyer?
Looks like he's just gonna go to Meyer. Which is good.
SageLord found a big heart and spiral cave.
Oh, are you going to the desert first?
Well, there is nothing here. Let's see if he's gonna do Lanmolas.
Well, he does know that the pedestal is not required, so... But Landmoss does have an item at the same time.
But it is 20 rupees.
It is 20 rupees.
And it is... Is it more valuable than one arrow?
Yes. Quite a lot, I would say.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, there's the red mail.
Now we're the blood chest.
All the slain victims being absorbed by the chest outside.
Looks quite menacing.
I'm not sure I would want to have a chest like that near me.
No, I think I would just leave that chest where it was. I saw that.
And more Sora money.
More Zora money.
A lot of money in Hookshot Cave. And, of course, another piece of heart. And is it gonna be Ether for Turtle Rock? It is Bombos.
We can't get in there because we don't have the mirror.
Oh yeah, about that mirror.
Yeah, you gotta, if you don't have the mirror, you gotta start there, otherwise you're not gonna get in. So we gotta take another trip up the mountain.
Well, it looks like that's what he's going to do.
Well, I mean, we need the lamp for that, technically, but if you can do the dark room, you can complete Turtle Rock right here and now. I don't see a reason why not to. Only bad thing is if there's something in Mimic Cave, you're never gonna get that.
The lamp could also be in Turtle Rock.
Yeah. I don't think we've hit any lamp-locked rooms thus far. And it wasn't in Pod, so...
Well, Eastern, no. Pod, no. The old man didn't have anything. Meyer didn't have Kane when they entered that.
Well, this randomizer definitely likes to hide the lamp in very mean spots.
Yeah. That's what separates the good tiles from the bad tiles.
Ooh. Almost gets a 0 cycle. Or 1 cycle, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the 1 cycle, but 2 cycles still really good. And SageLord is gonna make this trip into Turtle Rock.
Yes, indeed. Now, thankfully, killing the boss does give back Mentosman his magic, so he can go straight into Mystery Mire after this. And Mentosman does have Ice Palace completed, so even though he got kind of sidetracked by not having enough magic in there the first time, he does have that in his favor.
Yeah, absolutely. He is a crystal ahead at this point, and it is one of the Pyramid Fairy crystals.
Yeah, it does give SageLord the opportunity to go mode that later if it wasn't, you know, if it was possible to do that, then SageLord can make up some time that way.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting since the mirror is the thing we're looking for all the crystals, but the bow is also needed for go mode.
Yep, that bow, as we said earlier, could be in GT. It's 100%, 100,000,000% possible.
We do know it is not in Eastern, and it is not in Palace of Darkness.
You can be 100% sure of that as well.
I'm just gonna get his hook shot in about 5 seconds.
Okay, hello mushroom.
Oh dear, mushroom in Turtle Rock. I'm not sure how much you like that. I'm pretty certain it's a big no.
Yeah, I guess you could head that way, turn that in, and then go to Zora, but that doesn't feel good. But I think at this point you just turn that in if you don't find anything else here.
We're still gonna keep going here since you can full clear it. And man, if that mushroom is mirror. I mean, I guess that bottle makes sense.
Yeah, I believe that's the vanilla. Ooh.
Yep. Well, sword upgrade is pretty nice. You don't really need more than tempered to feel safe.
Yeah, tempered is life goal. Every seed.
And with that, SageLord is stacked for Ganon's Tower with tempered silvers and powder. 14 hearts.
And red mail. The power blood.
and all our enemies shall be disintegrated with the help of the fire rod.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so Mentosman coming down here first. Just checking the cutscene chest.
Goodbye, Mimic Cave. Yeah, it's time for the dark room. Unless the lamp is here. Where is that lamp?
Ooh.
Oh, the mirror's in Mire!
Yeah, I was thinking SageLord forgot an item in Mire. They didn't check that chest, and that's a big one. So now that lamp can be in Swamp Palace as well.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh, what do you even do now? I guess you go up to Hera.
I mean, he has the entire Dark Death Mountain and everything up here to do first before he decides to go into any other dungeons.
Yeah, the awkward thing for SageLord is if they don't remember how many items they got in Mire, they could skip that. But, you know, we are 5-1. I would assume that they are conscious enough of the item counts in dungeons that that won't happen. But if it does, that's going to be catastrophic.
It is, and it's a funny thing to see. The Cane of Samaria was locked behind either Hookshot or Mirror, and they were both in Mire.
Well,
so Force Double Dip Mire confirmed.
absolutely confirmed.
Now, still looking for this bow, which could be anywhere.
We haven't seen that for a while.
And the mirror opens up item locations like Graveyard Ledge, Cave 45 that are out of the way to locate. Even Bumble's tablet is a bit out of the way, even though it's close to Swamp.
Yeah, that's pretty much every item location in the game opened up right now, except for the ones in Pod and Eastern that are bow locked.
There's still Sora, you know.
There's Zora. I guess we can't dig up the shovel item without the shovel. As you know, you can only dig with the shovel. Can't use your hands.
Can't use your
tile. Yeah, I guess we don't actually have hands right now, do we?
You have like the edge of your tile, like maybe it's very sharp.
Maybe.
No, it's nothing on Laser Bridge.
SageLord does have a fairy still, so...
Oh, Mentos gets a double fall here.
Oof. Oof.
It does have the mirror, otherwise just go back to the entrance to reset.
Alright, well, it's a good thing that SageLord found that Tempered Sword in this dungeon, because Master Sword Trinex, even Hammer Trinex, is kind of difficult.
Indeed, but with the Tempered you do only need 5 slashes on each head, and you want to change to the other rod before the first one starts to explode, since you can't open the menu while there are explosions.
Yeah, do keep that in mind if anybody is new to Randomizer. If you are killing Cold Stare, for example, and one of them starts exploding and you're one hit away from death, you will not be able to switch to that potion, so always be conscious of that.
Well, Trinex gonna fall, crystal number 4, and well, about this Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that's definitely something they could get, and it could be something important, and if it is, that's really sad for SageLord.
Really sad is also when the Master of Philosophy knocks you down 1 floor. I don't think SageLord is gonna make the trip back into Mire for some time, or maybe he's gonna do it now before he's gonna go into Ice.
Well, we did get the Canvas Mire, so we can actually complete that now. It depends on if he's comfortable with the Dark Room.
Moldorm does not want to be disturbed today.
What doth life?
Moldorm lives a very simple life, just randomly going around in circles, and if you attempt to disturb that, well, you will get knocked around.
You're not supposed to be here, you're supposed to be in the basement. What are you doing? Get out of here.
There's still the Tower of Hera item in the basement, right?
There is an item there.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
I have the utmost confidence that Mentosman8 is going to be going to the basement right now.
SageLord's gonna go back into Mire. Let's see if he counted the items. He may still go victorious first regardless.
Yeah, I think at that point, maybe going victorious. Just, well, I guess you'd have to do the opening room again. It's hard to say. Oh no.
May as well skip in the basement here.
He really does not want to see his family.
To be fair, if he doesn't find the bow after finishing off with the basement areas in Ganon's Tower, he can simply mirror into Tower of Hera and check the basement.
That is very true. That is quite true as well.
And he is just looking for the bow right now.
He's also looking for the Cane of Samaria, which you will find before long.
It's here. Not in this cave, but one of the caves.
Right.
Someone in chat pointing out that the lamp could be in the basement.
Yes, it can. It certainly can. Well, SageLord does not need it, apparently. More than happy to come down here to this dark room.
And Eastern and Palace of Darkness, we do know the bow cannot be there, so not that many dark rooms require this seed.
No, not really. Alright, let's make it through that first room. That one is often regarded as the hardest dark room in the game, though there are a few setups that make it a lot easier to do. It can still be quite difficult just because of the fireball shooters. This room's kind of annoying too because the spike can get in your way a lot.
Yeah, Mentos has found his cane now.
Alright.
I mean, maybe Mentos wants to avoid the tile rooms because he doesn't want any other of his kind to die.
Potentially.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I guess they don't give good hugs.
I think we may be coming back to this discussion here about the sprite meta. It's time for Vitreous.
No go. At least we have tempered and boots, so we can just dash through them. It's acceptable.
Using the Cane of Burna to add to the lag.
And there you go. I swear, the rooms we find these males in, just you blend in perfectly. It's uncanny.
Yeah, that's a sweet looking tile. I'll SageLord with the crystal and... Well, is he gonna go back in?
The truth.
This could seal the deal in this race if he does not go back in.
Well.
I salute the SageLord.
On the plus side, after he completes Ice Palace, he's gonna get stonewalled, kind of. I guess he hasn't done Palace of Darkness checks.
Yeah, it's that and Sora. I mean, he's gonna get Pyramid Fairy after this.
Yeah.
What if he gets the bow?
It's gonna be a sad day. That's what it's gonna be.
real sad. Okay, now we hope that the bow is in Ganon's tower. Or in Swamp.
Yeah, that would be... That would definitely be something.
And that it's not in Mimic Cave also. Mentos. Yeah, sure. If you want to practice, which category is it that where you hover in Turtle Rock? It's like mirror shield percent?
Trinex percent, I guess? I have no idea.
I think you do at least try to hover in mirror shield where you just rush all the 3 shields, but I could be wrong. Or just rush into mirror shield. I don't know. I don't know my non-rando.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Oh
dear.
What?
Is this happening?
What? Oh, so close.
I was still like 80% through.
Well, I'll give you a pass. That's way longer than I could ever. That's for sure, so.
That's very impressive. I think SageLord got the bomb jump in the first try. Of course he got it in the first try. Always first try.
Every first try. Every time. So, the thing about the mirror is... It really depends on if SageLord goes back into Mire for that. Maybe they'll realize it and go straight back there. And if they do, it's not that big of a deal. If you go to Vitreous and just gamble that Vitreous has the item, all you're really losing, in addition to the time you'd have to go back through there anyway, is the time it takes to flute there and go into the Dark World. So it's not the worst thing in the world, as long as he realizes that soon.
Do you want to triple dip Mire? Do you rather go up to Tower of Hera and check the basement?
I think I would rather go to Mire, because I think that's going to be a little bit quicker. Because we would have to go all the way around the fountain at that point.
Correct me if I'm wrong, SageLord also left after the boots in Eastern, right?
Yes.
So there's still the 50-50 for him, that there's an item there.
Yeah, it's true. That's one of the worries of when you skip these one-off locations, is if you are missing something, you have all of the stuff that you skipped just eating away at you in the back of your mind.
And this is one of those seeds.
Yes, it is. But Sage said right there in the title screen that this is the gamble. This is the time for gambles. He's gonna gamble like crazy.
Sure has. Gamble left out one item in both Tower of Hera and Mire, and potentially one in Eastern.
Yes, indeed.
Mentos picks up his sword, did get the mushroom. I don't remember what the mushroom had, but it was nothing.
Yeah, the mushroom is another big 20.
That surprises me a lot.
It's very surprising. We haven't seen many of those. Let's see.
To be fair, I did expect another piece of heart.
We're running out of pieces of hearts, I swear.
I don't think there's all that many more. Time for some coals there. We'll have a stronger sword than when Mentos was here. He gets the first spin.
Yeah, with Red Mail, Cold Stare, not really much of a threat.
And with that, it is the moment of truth here with Mimic Cave.
Well, this is like the second moment of truth, I guess. This is just like an expansion of the moment of truth number 1, where we find out how bad it really is. So something's here. This is okay.
Okay.
Like the mirror being in Mire, if he goes there right now and gets it, that's fine. If something was in Mimic Cave, that would be not fine. That would be not fine at all.
Indeed. And he's bringing out the hammer. Has he checked Bombo's tablet?
No, you can't actually set up the mirror.
Mentos is hovering again.
Alright, perfect.
Yeah, first try. No problem. Perfect. Incredible, flawless performance by Mentos as he walks into that rolling theme too many times.
Alright, we're doing Pyramid Fairy.
Why did I forget about Pyramid Fair? I've been talking about it for like half the commentary.
Well, SageLord did not forget.
That is good. So we don't want to see the bow here, actually.
Yeah, we do not want to see that.
The lamp can't be here.
No, it cannot, because Mire, of course, requires a lamp. So if it were here, that would be bad.
The bug net can be here.
I would approve of that.
Maybe the cape and we'll finally see with some bumper cave.
Bombs and a heart. Okay.
Yeah, that seems about standard.
So SageLord looking like they're gonna be headed to pod, yeah.
Mentos has already made this step, so
Yeah, and to be fair, this isn't a long dip. It's really going to depend on if SageLord uses the goo. But if pod's bow locked, then there's not much reason to. You're never going to find the bow in a bow locked pod.
yeah. And are you sure there's an actual sprite on Mentos' screen?
No, I'm not sure actually.
It's very difficult to see. And SageLord's gonna pay the monkey and still has enough for Sora after this.
It's an awkward spot for Mentos. Not having enough magic for the cane.
And the anti-fairy blocking the pot.
Get down, Mr. President.
What?
What'd I miss?
I have no idea. Oh man, are you gonna hover again, Mentos? Oh. No.
My fingers hurt just watching this.
As someone who's had carpal tunnel syndrome in the past, I'm in physical pain right now.
I don't even want to say anything like you can hear us. It's gonna break his rhythm or something.
This is extremely impressive.
Yes. I mean, he's got a little time. He doesn't know it, but okay, that's enough of that. Maybe next time. Did at least get over one pit, so.
Does SageLord have a pot?
I think he has a loot potion, yeah.
Well, there is nothing he can find over here in the first place. Maybe he gets a fetch quest item that just sends him on a weird way. And yeah, SageLord, you... Okay. Oh, yeah, you have to do it in this room, right?
Yeah, you have to make sure the camera... So he's gonna run over here to the... Yeah, there we go. That should do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Also, try next instead.
Fantastic. Later.
Won't miss you. Now, will Mentos go back to the Hera basement now?
Well, he's got both items in Mire. It's... I don't think he will. I think he's just gonna go to Mire and then go to Swamp Palace.
Moment of truth here is gonna swap to the flute, he will. That was another moment of truth that wasn't really a moment of truth.
I mean, they're all kind of moments of truth, it's just much less impactful than forgetting Mir and Maya, I guess.
With Moldorm dead, truth doesn't really exist in its normal way.
It's very true. Or is it? We don't know, we're not sure.
Yeah, that is true, but we were unable to ask Moldorm for an answer because Moldorm doesn't talk. At least we think it doesn't, and maybe it has its own means of communication.
We have to analyze every movement it made, see if it's spelling out something in cursive on the ground or something.
Yeah, indeed. Also, small key in pod. I'm shocked.
Yes, indeed. There's a cape.
Oh, I think we're gonna see a check on Bumper Cave then, and likely move forward to Graveyard Ledge after that. Well, actually, he can't do that. He doesn't have the mirror.
Indeed, does not have the mirror. That's one of the weird things about
More
this
hover.
play. Come on, Mentos. You have the big key and the small key. This is completely unnecessary. Alright, everybody give Mentos a big hand. Best hovers are the ones that don't actually matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, this play into pod from Sage is kind of weird, because the only thing of value that he's going to find here is the mirror, which
we know it's not here.
Yeah, and do you really want to get, because that's going to mean that the mirror was bow locked in, do you really want to get off logic when you need the bow anyway? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it does mean that you know you can go mode swamp.
Yeah.
Yep, yes, the fetch quest item.
Yep, so we got that cape. Wonder if we're gonna use it.
Well, SageLord is running out of locations. Oh,
Dude,
man. No,
are you kidding me?
No! No, he just got the 2 items and he left. What? No! Not tell me this is happening. Why do both players have to effectively triple dip Meyer to just see?
Oh my
god. I believe it was on the east side. He just went straight to the big chest or the vanilla big key location and found the second item there and then he left.
Oh man. I mean, I understand you found hookshot and mirror in here.
I mean, that's great. You get to do that amazing hover for absolutely nothing.
Well, now we get to see it again.
Oh look, 20 rupees on Bumper Cave. I'm pretty certain the Vicky was in this one just here.
Yes, it's right here.
Yeah, there we go. He's not happy about that.
Right, so you gotta make sure before you leave Meyer, you get that big key.
Okay, SageLord, where are you going? Are you gonna check Sora now?
Looks like it.
Okay, it's time to be scanned by Sora. Okay, Mento's gonna hover again. We've already seen this. This isn't important. More important here is what Sora's gonna give us.
Alright, there we go. Fantastic.
Yeah, and he didn't even need a first try this time. We got it on the 0 try.
0 try. Alright, so we gotta do the Stark Room again.
Oh, Sora. What can you give us today?
Big 20.
I'm so surprised by this. I mean, for me, 20 rupees on Sora is vanilla.
Pretty much at this point. Alright, Sage Lord, are you gonna go back to Hera?
Yep.
Ooh.
Hera basement.
Well, if this is the bow.
It's a long way to walk, and he's gonna get blocked by the dead rocks as well.
Man, it's all going downhill for Sage Lord.
Well, he's trying to go uphill now to get to the top of the mountain.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I can only agree with that, but this is what happens when you skip out on item locations in dungeons.
Yeah. So Mir is in the cutscene chest in Mire, which Sage Lord, they went there, Mire, pretty early. They found the hookshot, then they checked some of the ET chests and left. So when they went back, I don't know if they forgot that they didn't check that location, they didn't get all the items out of Mire, or if that's intentional. But that's the scenario we find ourselves in.
Yep. And neither player checked the item in the Hera basement.
Well, we're gonna check it now.
You know, there was someone in chat earlier who said that, well, the lamp can be here, but you know what, it does seem very likely that the lamp is here.
I think this is absolutely gonna be the lamp. I can't imagine... Well, actually... I guess the lamp could be in Swamp too. I don't think the mirror was actually lamp locked.
No, it wasn't. So yeah, it can still be in Swamp.
Which means there's a 100% chance it's in Swamp. It's gonna be on the left side of Swamp too.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a piece of heart or 20 rupees here then. And I'm just gonna make the trip into Swamp now.
Yep. Could opt to do Pyramid Fairy first, might just say, you know what, I'm just gonna do Swamp first.
Bumble's tablet as well.
And then it's also an option. What is this? It's the lamp!
The lamp all along! If I only remember who wrote that in chat, shoutouts to you!
Alright, SageLord, do you remember there's an item in Mire, or have you forgotten?
Your palace has an item.
Oh no!
And
Do
it's
not go back.
Armos.
Do not go back there.
Okay, where is he going now? Okay, we're gonna see Bumble's tablet here.
Bumbo's tablet is $50. I'm not sure where SageLord's going. I don't think they think they got everything out of pod, didn't they?
Yeah, I think, or maybe it was. Did he skip a chest in the dark or something?
Did he not check Stumpy all this time?
Did he completely leave this out? He could have, because he did find the myths. And then he did save and quit several times. So yeah, maybe he hasn't checked Stumpy, but this was like three bombs or something like that. Yeah, it was 3 bombs. I remember that after all this time. Unbelievable. Who checked Stumpy at 1 hour 37?
Yeah, he checked Hypegave and he saved and quit. He didn't actually complete the south side. Goodness gracious.
Outside store, where are you flying now? Please don't tell me you're going into Eastern. Oh, he's going into Eastern. Oh no! No, wait! But he's just gonna check one item location because he still doesn't have the bow, and we know that's just the compass.
Yeah, he's probably kicking himself. Like, I can't believe I left these item locations. I can't believe it.
That's 20 rupees in Swamp.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the thing is, if he just goes to Mire and gets it, he's not that far behind.
Is he?
Well, now he is.
I guess not. I guess he's just waiting for that. It depends on if he go mode Swamp or not. If he go mode Swamp and Bo is not here, then he probably catches up, and then Bo will be in GT. But, man.
We are still waiting for the shovel, which could be in GT and give the bow.
God. That would just That would be amazing.
I'm just saying.
It can happen. You are absolutely right about that.
So I wonder how SageLord is feeling, knowing he picked up the boost here, save and quit, and now he's going all the way back, like 40 minutes later or something, all to get a compass.
Yeah, that's not a good feeling.
Oh, look, 20 more rupees in the swamp.
Fantastic.
Yay. When is Mentos gonna check Sora?
Never, probably.
Will he leave out left side completely?
He might. I'm not sure if he's still on the compass of the map so far.
We haven't.
So, yeah. I mean, that's not super uncommon. If you find no dungeon items in the first two chests, sometimes some runners will just come back here for this. Especially if you're just one item away from go mode. Or even if you're one item away from go mode and you find the map at the compass, you just come back here and try your luck. And sometimes it works out. Most of the time it doesn't work out, but sometimes it does.
This time it didn't work out for SageLord making this trip for a compass, and well, there's the big key and 10 arrows. Also, someone in chat did mention Checkerboard Cave. Have we seen that yet?
No, because... Did we? No, I don't think we have,
No.
because...
Not even Mentos went back and checked that when he finished off Meyer. Oh, SageLord is going into Meyer!
Okay. I wonder if they just remembered. I would be very interested to know. Well, I mean, I guess I have my answer on the title screen because they're gambling, but. Alright, well. So SageLord is not that far behind. It's gonna depend on if Mentos comes back in Swamp or not. If Mentos comes back in Swamp, then SageLord has some time to catch up. If they don't, and Bo is in GT, well, Mentosman already skipped left side, so there's not much more time you can make up there.
Indeed. The race is technically not over.
It is not. If Mentos goes to GT, and Bo is not in GT, it's in left side Swamp, and SageLord does left side, then
He
that's
does.
another...
Mentos does have all 7 crystals here, but is he gonna go straight to GT? That is the question.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to say yes. When we know for a fact that he's going to GT, we'll start the game, but
Ooh.
we are in a... he's going to check Pyramid Ferry first, which is perfectly fine. But he did leave the left side Swamp behind.
Oh dear. We're not gonna start the game until we see someone actually making the play up to Ganon's Tower.
Yes, just be ready.
Take it easy, chat. I know 7 crystals. You want to get this started, and you also want to predict where the bow is going to be, but it's just a big key. SageLord, he wants to lift up that chest, but that chest can't go with you. No! Don't do that to your other kind.
Well,
Even using the
understand.
boomerang. Wow. The boomerang of shame.
Well, understandable. The last location you could possibly check.
I think I know where SageLord is going.
Probably the last crystal they got to complete. I'll be interested to see if they skip left side or not. You know, at this point when they've checked everything, you might expect them to do that just because they want to make up some time, and that'd be a way to do it. But you never know.
You never know.
Might just go for broke.
Well, this is bringing out the mirror. Where is he gonna flute? And if this is one, I guess we shall start the game, even though we can still go into the Tower of Pharaoh basement, but that still seems unlikely. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are 22 possible item deadrock locations in Ganon's Tower where the big key can be. One of them will have it. Also, maybe one of them will have the bow, but this is just for the big key. Make your guesses in chat right now. And if you're a subscriber to any of the speed gaming channels and/or have donated a total of 250 bits, you're the first to guess right. You'll be entering the leaderboard. Just to clarify, this is just for the big key. This is not for the bow.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna go The big key is going to be in chest number 2. The big key is going to be nice, but the bow is not going to be in GT. It's going to be in a dig spot.
Shovel in the big chest. It's the number 23 to the dig spot, yes. It's been a long time since I've actually seen that big chest be opened.
Oh man.
I've seen it once this tournament.
Yeah, you do see that very, very rarely. And it's usually when hookshot or the bow is in GT.
And the bow can still be on left side here, or in the big chest in swamp.
Yeah, it can be. That's the scary thing.
That would put SageLord in the lead.
Well, that would be a story of stories.
This is truly coming down to the wire here, where this bow is going to be.
It'd be pretty funny if Bo was behind Ice Armos. So you have to fight him without the bow.
Oh no, that's right! Bowless Ice Armors is a thing.
Alright. Here we go. Chest 1's the compass, chest 2 is the big key! Alright, if you guess 2, me, congratulations.
How dare you!
So that means my other prediction is going to be coming true too. I apologize for that ahead of time. I appreciate Mentosman checking the chest in that order as well. Because that could have been chest number 1 just as easily.
What was on the torch? A small key?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy. Bobby's dead.
Okay.
Oh, there's the bow!
Well,
We are in go mode in Ganon's tower.
that was half right.
I guess if you guess item location number 6, you somewhat win, maybe?
Get a participation medal with a little bow on it.
It's a giant tile with a D on it. So yeah, Mentos has quite the lead here.
Yeah, good call skipping left side and swamp. That was the higher probability play anyway. It's still kind of scary to do, but I respect him for doing that. I mean, this is a 5-1 race. Probably wasn't a really hard thing to decide on, but still.
This bow location was just set up by the RNG manipulation caused by the hovering.
Yeah, definitely. It seems like if Pod and Eastern are pendants, the bow really just loves being GT. It's the favorite thing of the randomizer. If it can do it, it will do it. 99% of the time. Not actual statistic, by the way, but
Yeah, I prefer the 50%. It's either there or not.
yeah.
SageLord going back into swamp. Yeah.
The one time they don't skip 9 locations, they're actually going to pay off with them.
Yeah. Sadly. The thing is, both players in this seed technically still had to triple dip Meyer.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
SageLord for getting the mirror, and Mentos for getting the big key. And Mentos still has a massive challenge up ahead with Moldorm too.
A massive challenge.
I mean, Moldorm is pretty big.
He is quite large. He's a big hamburger boy.
And very smart, at least we think he is.
Yes. He's the one who wrote the tablet, right?
Yeah, Moldorm language is actually the ancient language written in the Book of Medora.
Exactly. It was actually the Book of Moldorm, but over time, like the cover sort of faded, and now it looks like it says Medora, but it originally said Moldorm.
I heard that it was actually a mistranslation.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think that theory is also pretty good.
Alright, well, we don't really need anything at all, so we're not going to be checking these chests.
Yeah, there is no need for another sword. Oh, look, a lot of rupees in the swamp. Oh, yeah, of course Mentos is gonna do this. Spare the Lord and Savior of philosophy.
Alright, well.
320 rupees for SageLord in the swamp.
Probably not very happy about that.
I mean, clearly Mentos knows his priorities. It is important to keep Moldorm alive.
Yes. It's the last of the species right there.
Yeah, indeed. Need to spare it for future sake. And of course, Moldorm needs to finish the sequel to the Book of Medora.
Yes, indeed. Sadly, we didn't find the bug net anywhere. So no Swaggin' strats.
Where could that bug net be? The Deep Ring Ganon's Tower?
Yeah, we didn't see a whole lot of GTA. It's my guess. Alright, so coming up on Ganon now. Gonna be a pretty simple fight with Red Mail, Tempered Sword, Silver Arrows. Not a whole lot that can go wrong there.
And Sage are gonna check K45. We haven't seen this.
Yeah, I think SageLord. I think after skipping some stuff and getting punished for it, probably feeling a bit less happy about skipping locations, just being safe. Even coming back here to check Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, and you know, Ganon, that's a pretty impressive cheese, but this tile is actually bigger than that.
Is it heavier too? Is it like super dense?
Oh yes, indeed. Also, we're gonna see Checkerboard Cave here.
Yep.
There's very little talk about this Ganon fight. Mentos has done this like 100 times before.
Yep, won't be too difficult. Less unfortunate tile falls into the pit. There are a lot of them falling in the pit, but
SageLord is checking every single item location before Ganon's Tower. Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, I know exactly how they feel. I understand. Alright. No torch glitch, we don't really need it though. Are we gonna get a triple here?
Oh baby, give us the triple. 1, 2, 3!
Really nice.
And Mentos will finish this stage of the tournament with a victory, going up to 6-1.
Yep.
With that also with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, 12 seconds.
Well, all things considered, pretty good time for the seed. Seed was not very straightforward, I guess.
Yeah, that mire was something.
It was. And finding Mitz early also played a big part. So Mentosman will join us for an interview. Let's get give a second.
Now we are joined by Mentos, and congratulations on that victory.
Thank you. I was kind of expecting after that Meyer shenanigans that wasn't going to happen.
Shenanigans. Do you mean for getting that big key.
Yeah, for some reason it was in my head that Meyer did what GT did and gave me the big key super early when I was looking for items. And I just was like, okay, time to go to the boss. Nope.
Nope. Yeah, we did appreciate the encore of the hover, though, in the dark room.
I was pretty annoyed that I failed to get my grip on my controller well enough in TR for both of those, so I figured I might as well go for a second try.
Of course, it was completely intentional.
As it turns out, both of you actually needed to go through Meyer 3 times, because SageLord didn't pick up the mirror the first 2 times.
Oh, that's terrible. That'll hurt.
That was pretty much what cost them. They had a small lead on you, I want to say. It was pretty close throughout the entire thing until that point, but not finding the mirror for a long time really hurt them. So they went to pod, they did the goo glitch to get to the backside, and it was just really sad, because that was the last location they checked, was the last Meyer chest. They even went back up to the Tower of Hera and checked the basement, which we found out had the lamp.
So that's where the lamp was. That's actually not that horrible.
No, not really. Still pretty out of the way, but yeah. So yeah, I guess you go to 6-1. That's the badge of honor, I suppose, at this point, since you've already qualified for brackets.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy to get the extra win because my win week 1 was a forfeit due to tech issues. So now I actually have 5 legitimate wins, and that makes me a little bit happier.
Yeah, I mean, you looked like you were having a lot of fun with it. You both were picking these funny little sprites that I don't think you would actually use in a normal tournament race. Or would you? What do you feel? What are your feelings on the tile?
Absolutely would not use if I was playing completely seriously.
Yeah. Probably a lot harder to set up bomb jumps and all that such. Harder to see yourself as well. Ironically, the rooms you got those mails on, you blended in with the floor almost immediately. It was really quite funny.
Yep, I noticed that while I was going through and was real satisfied by the way that played out. Also, shoutouts to the Ice Palace bomb jump setup that I haven't used for months that saved me because it doesn't need a visual cue.
Yeah, you can, I assume you mean the one in the jellyfish room, right?
Yeah, you essentially do a sword spin to get on the closest pixel to the edge, then 2 sword buffers down, and it ends up putting you in an exact place to get bomb jumped over.
Yeah, that one's not that one's not as hard. You don't really use it a lot, so you might forget the setup, but that's a pretty good one. So what was your thoughts on the seed overall? Just get your insight.
The forced Meyer double dip by having both ways to access East Death Mountain in there was kind of mean.
Yes.
I feel like it kind of paid back by putting the bow in Stalfo's room instead of the big chest or somewhere equally awful. But as a whole, the seed kind of opened up nice and early. There were a lot of options, and it was kind of fun to have 5 million choices and just, we'll go with this one.
You did pick up the myths after Thieves Town, and that did give you a lot of options. Can you explain how you planned your routing after that?
Well, since I was right there, I wanted to get the blacksmith stuff taken care of, because otherwise I tend to forget it. Then I just chose Ice Palace because it was the only dungeon at the time that I could full clear. And then I went up to Death Mountain, was gonna go into Meyer way earlier than I did not have enough magic, and decided, okay, that didn't work, let's make this the last place I go.
Yeah, we noticed that at the time, and that was at the point where SageLord had actually gone into Meyer and found the hookshot. So we were worried that just not having enough magic was going to send you on a bad path and eventually cost you the race, but ended up working out. You were a bit more thorough in your Meyer check, and that really paid out for you.
Yeah, I just wish I had been thorough enough to get the big key.
Yeah, yeah. I understand though. You found 2 items in Mire. You can't complete it. You want to go. You're like, I got cool stuff here. I'm gonna go play with this, and then you forget you didn't get the big key while you're there. It happens to all of us.
Then I realized I didn't set up. I meant to set up the spooky action glitch in Mire, and then realized I didn't set it up and was disappointed. And then realized I didn't have the lamp and was kind of happy I didn't have to try for that.
And then only things in the back rooms of Pod was the cape.
Yeah, on a seed with both Pod and Eastern as pendants, I'm super hesitant to do the bottle glitch because that bow could be locked in GT and it could just be a major waste of time.
Yeah, that's very understandable. And even if it's, there's something back there, you don't really want to like get off path to where you like lose sight of where the bow will be, since you're gonna need that every time anyway. So very understandable. Moldorm lived on your side, but SageLord killed them. How heartless. Taking the shield from the last chest there. Glad we got that knowledge.
That knowledge was not worthwhile for the knowledge we lost due to Moldorm dying.
Mentosman is the good timeline. SageLord is the dark timeline.
Yes, that makes sense. And also, Mentos, you're 6-1. You're one of the 28 players in the next stage of this tournament. What is your goal moving forward?
Win at least one race in brackets. Everyone who's going to be moving on is so good at this game. I can't expect or hope for more than that. So my goal is just get that one win at least to get something going.
I respect that. It's also my goal. Alright, SageLord finishing off Aga 2, gonna be heading again, so with any luck, SageLord will be joining us here for too long. Again, fight went really well, you got the nice triple there to finish things off.
Yeah, and I managed to get the 1-on-1 cycle because he set up in the perfect spot for that, so I was really happy with that fight.
How do you feel about 57,000-pound cheeses?
I feel like that's entirely too much cheese. I don't know who wants that much cheese.
It's a lot of cheese.
I am curious where that fourth sword was, whether it was just deeper in GT or in one of the mirror spots that I completely neglected to acknowledge.
Well, we did see, I think SageLord, after checking and finding the mirror, since they were skipping a lot of one-off locations, they felt a little bit bad going to GT without the bow. So we did see the checkerboard cave, K45, and some other mirror spots, and we didn't see a sword, so my guess is GT, or I guess maybe the green pendant and pod, or that last time in Eastern.
I just realized I'm curious. Did Sage ever go to Zora?
Yes.
Yep. 20 rupees.
Okay, I missed that in my credits, and that makes me really happy. I decided not to farm money for that.
He actually went to it before he went for his third visit into Mire. So that was still a very late Zora.
Almost fell off the edge there.
Also, worst feeling finding the boots in Eastern, an hour into the run. After saying before the race, let's hope for early boots.
Well, kind of got your wish, just didn't recharge for enough, hard enough for it anyway. SageLord does finish off again. Official SRTP time of 2 hours, 3 minutes, and 57 seconds, and they're right there in the waiting room, so we'll go ahead and bring them in. Hello, SageLord38.
Hey, GG.
GG, Sage.
How are you feeling?
I mean, I feel like I got really behind early, At least that's how I felt. Maybe that wasn't actually the case, but I felt like I was super behind early, and thus like just sort of left an item in almost every single dungeon I went. And then I was like, okay, if the item's there, then I lose, right? And then I kept doing that, and it kept stacking up, and I was like, oh no. And I basically just checked all the wrong places for a while. I think I had only Misery Mire and Ice Palace, Ice Tea Room. I left 2 items in both of those dungeons. Probably not a good idea, but hey man, had fun. That was interesting seed. A little bit annoyed at Mirror, but that's okay, you know.
Yeah, that did bait you for quite a while. Unfortunately, the last place you checked did, of course, have that. You were pretty thorough after that. I guess you just didn't want to get bitten by the bow in a mirror spot or something like that.
Yeah, I thought the right play was to go to Ganon's Tower and hope that the bow was there, which is why I tried to pivot and go somewhere else, because I thought at that point, I mean, even if Mentos had found the mirror really late, he probably didn't find it as late as I did, because I pretty much did just about everything else before I did that. So I tried to do something different and in the hopes that I'll potentially find the bow before him. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that made a lot of sense. At that point, you probably felt behind anyway. So, and the Ganon's Tower play for the bow definitely makes a lot of sense, because that's a very high probability since there's so many items there.
Right.
Yeah, so if the bow was actually in Swamp, you probably would have won this race.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Was it, so we were even in whenever we both found the mirror, or whenever we both went into Swamp?
Mentos was ahead at that point, but Mentos also skipped the left side of Swamp. So if the bow was there, Mentos had already gone to GT, and they would have full cleared GT looking for that bow, I'm sure, before maybe even gone into Tower Pair basement looking for it.
Can confirm Swamp would have been the last place I went back to.
Yeah, so you are 5-2. I'm sorry, you only qualified for brackets.
Gosh,
You don't get the extra points. So yeah, guess you'll just have to deal with that. What are your goals going to brackets, by the way?
I don't have many goals. I mean, my goal this whole tournament was just to make the bracket stage, and luckily made it in last week. So I mean, anything on top is just pure gravy. I mean, if I take any games off of top players, I mean, I'd be pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Okay, so mostly what Mentos said as well. They were hoping to win 1 game at least, and yeah, sounds like you're aiming to do the same.
Yeah. Should be fun.
You got any questions for boys here, Marge?
I was just gonna ask for some closing thoughts, starting with you, Mentos.
It was really fun to have a race like this that wasn't filled with pressure of having to win, and I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys for the commentary and for the tracking and the restream. I'm looking forward to watching this back.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that. What about you, SageLord? You got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just pretty much the same thing. Yeah, it's nice to have a really relaxed race, sort of, with no pressure. So just having fun, gambling all over the place with it. And then, yeah, thanks to all the volunteers. You guys are doing a great job for putting this on. It's really pretty awesome.
More than happy to do it.
And thank you to both of you for being so good at this game, and best of luck in your upcoming tournament matches. And of course, our viewers, you are looking for more Link to the Past Randomizer. And over on Speed Gaming 4, we just had one match that just started, Iktebakke versus Osipone. And on top of the hour, we'll have In the Name of DT versus Delta MB on Speed Gaming 2, and that is a 4-2 match. So the winner will qualify for the next round of the tournament. The loser is very likely out. There's a few players with a 4-3 scoreline that will go through.
Hey Marge, if they want to catch all the rando action, Do you have any channels they should follow, maybe?
I have heard of this, like, speed gaming channel on YouTube or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but what if I want to watch them live? Like, is there stuff on Twitch here that I could follow, maybe?
Oh, you mean like speed gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4?
Thank you very much. Fantastic. I'm going to go follow all those right now.
And of course, thank you to our tracker Michael K. And I've been Marjevich.
And I've been Malay.
And we hope to see you all in the not too distant future.